What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Manny here. Welcome back to the channel. It is time for another round of analytic lead climbing. A lot of you seem to have enjoyed the episode where I climbed and analyzed the first route I ever set myself. So I put an effort in recent sessions on getting the hardest route in that gym, the Kletterhalle Fürstenfeld, done and get a good record of it for a nice analysis. So here we are. Also, we were pretty close to resetting this whole wall, so there was a bit of a time pressure to send it before the route had to be cleared out of the wall for new stuff. I did not set this one myself. The setter is a guy called Florian Murnig, and I want to credit him here because I think the route is pretty awesome. It contains some very tasty climbing and I think some nice lessons to learn from a technique and strategy point of view. The plan for this video is as follows. First, we will take a look at the route from the ground as usual, as kind of a pre-on-site preparation, and then I will show you how I climbed the route and I'll analyze everything important to me. Probably requires a couple of slow-mos and stills, because the actual ascent was pretty quick, and yeah, then I show you the actual ascent in real speed one more time uncut to give you an impression on how it felt more realistically in terms of execution and resting and stuff. I will put some timestamps down below in the description and I think in the comments so that you can skip parts if you like, if you're such a heretic. So what you all of course burn to know probably is the actual grade of the route, right? How hard is it, Manny? Well, the setter gave it 8B, which converts to 513D, I think. The thing is that this one was set up as a competition route, and for me personally, it felt like it was pretty damn hard for the grade. I already climbed 8Bs out in the field second go and even flashed one, although that one was probably pretty soft. So this one actually taking a couple of attempts, although it's in a gym and therefore very accessible, tells me that it could in fact be a good bit harder. It also contains a couple of very long moves, and this is probably something that has to do with it because I naturally struggle with long moves. So if I had to grade it, I'd give at least hard 8B, wouldn't say no to 8B plus either, to be honest. So something along the lines of 514A and hard 513D for the Yankee Doodles out there, in my personal opinion. This time we're looking at those sand-colored holes, which are a bit hard to distinguish from the rest, so I'll try to circle them as much as I can so that I can get a picture of where the route actually goes and which holes are involved. Let's start from the bottom. As you can see, the route starts off in this slightly overhanging part of the big overhang here with these two pinches and a quite high step with the right foot probably. And then we already have a pretty big move to this next pinch up there and a, kind of tiny edge to the left of it, which is not too bad actually. I mean, you can't see it from here, but it's actually not so bad. And then we've got this quite significant pocket here, probably 3-finger pocket as it seems. Doesn't seem too bad either, so probably good to place the first clip. And then we've got this undercling style side pull edgy hold here, pretty cool hold. And another pinch up there. So as you can see, really pinchy right from the start, pinchy style. We've got another pocket, really shallow, kind of edgy pocket up here. And this is the point where we are starting to traverse to the right a bit over this big blue volume there. And this is also the reason why we have to clip here the right quick draw actually. So the second clip we place is going to be still on the left line, and then the next one, the third one, is going to be the right line, this red one there. And from there it's going onto this blue volume. We're having 3 sand colored holes here. The first are these two, and the third one is below this quick draw here, which is the next one we are going to clip actually. And to give you a little bit of a hint onto the sequence that we have to do here, as you can see, it's again very pinchy. One of these holes on the blue volume is very pinchy again. And it's very full of intermediate holds. Okay, so you gotta have, intermediate hold, next big move. Then you get the intermediate hold with your other hand and next big move. And this way we are working ourselves through this traverse. As you can see there at the end of the blue volume, we probably have some sort of undercling there. And another very, very tiny edge there, probably again an intermediate hold with a next big move with the left onto this next pinch there. And how we can see that we have to take this one with the left hand? Well, because the next holds are kind of centered around this next green volume up there, where we have pretty much finished our traverse to the right. And this hold here on the green volume is actually a kind of okay pinch, you know, when you come from below. And once you get your weight up, it turns more and more into an undercling. And of course, this is something that we are going to utilize for the next few moves, because as you can see around the corner here above this little roof, there is another very small edge, and this is very bad, really hard to hold. So it's kind of indicating that it's just an intermediate hold again. And this is very true. Stepping high and probably big reach to this kind of slopey turns to the wrong side pinch there again. So from this point, actually the route changes a little bit in style. We are switching from a pinchy character more to a slopey character and pinchy character, to be honest here with you. So here we're getting into a slightly vertical terrain again. As you can see in the, you know, by the shades of the quick draws, you can pretty much anticipate how the angle of the wall is. And this part of this route is very vertical again. So maybe we can get a little bit of a resting position out here. You know, resting in an overhanging position on bad holds is not a good idea in general. Resting in a vertical terrain on bad holds depends on your footholds. You know, sometimes you can get something out of it, and yeah, we're gonna try to do that definitely. So yeah, a couple of slopey, pinchy holds there, and then we're going up again, pretty much straight upwards, and we have this kind of significant undercling edge. You can't really see that it's an undercling from here, but I'm telling you, this is an undercling, and you know, the direction of it kind of indicates where we have to move next, which is this, you know, light green volume there, on which we have two holds, as you can see. One at the lower surface, which is probably an undercling edge again, and another one on the upper surface here as kind of a side pull edge. And as you can see, you know, it's pretty close to the actual edge of the volume. So probably if we can get this one with our left hand, we can utilize this edge for the thumb, creating a quite okay pinch again, you know. We've got there on the next wall surface, so to say, a really tiny edge again. As you can see, we can't really see how good it is. Maybe it's good, but I can tell you already it's very bad. So probably only utilizable at as an intermediate hold again. And here it's getting really tricky, because as you can see, we are kind of losing the connection to our footholds down below there pretty much. And we have to perform a quite big move up to this hardly visible next sand colored hold up there. So as you can, you know, anticipate, when we have this edge from before as an intermediate, this will be a pretty large move. And then we have this kind of undercling side pull style edge again, with another intermediate hold actually up there to get our feet up, because probably we have to kind of pinch this this volume down there between our feet, or get our left foot at least really up high onto this you know, edge, this lateral edge, which we utilize as a pinch on the volume. And then make a rather you know, hard move onto this next undercling. Now for this undercling side pull, we have two pretty good footholds, as you can see, because we've got one to the left and one to the right. So could be that we get a little bit of a shakeout there, and we can also place another, you know, quick draw, another clip there probably. Then we again have another pretty bad sloper. Fortunately, we're getting out of the more overhanging section of the climb into the more vertical, you know, finishing slab, so to say, the finishing vertical wall. And yeah, we've got there a really bad sloper, another really bad sloper, which we probably have to match, because as you can see, we are going to the left from there. And then we've got this tiny foothold, hardly visible again on this corner there. I'm trying to circle it. And from there, we can only hope that this sloper up there, close to this quick draw, is actually good enough for us to be able to place the next clip. And then we've got a pretty huge lock-off move from this hold to the next really sloper-like sand-colored hold up there, hardly visible. And then it's getting really crazy. We've got another one of these very shallow slopers, probably a really high step, and then we've got another really high step for the left foot. Get this kind of undercling finishing hold up there. This is also sand colored. And as you can imagine, if you are having a really low left foot and you get this undercling from below, it's really, really bad. So you have to take it pretty much, get your right foot up high and then push your weight upwards until you can match the top hold and until the undercling actually gets good enough to be able to clip the anchor. So yeah, this is pretty much what we can anticipate from the ground. And yeah, I think it's time to climb the route and analyze what we can, analyze the juice out of it. We're back down at the start, and as we expected, we start with both hands on these two pinches, right foot really high, and we gotta make the first big move on this next pinch with the right hand. And here I already want to point out the first technical detail. I make a little flag here to be able to grab this next little edge with my left hand. I could as well just make a foot switch and a back step. Would probably be a little bit easier, but then we would have to switch feet again right afterwards to be able to step onto the next foothold with the left foot, as you can see. So this is just another one of those details where a flag is maybe slightly harder than the back step, but it's a lot faster. And what matters for me the most in the beginning of a route where I still have 100% of my power is speed. I just simply want to get through these first meters as quickly as possible to save as much energy as possible for the later parts of the route. So yeah, flag can really often be a method to do this. We get the next, really prominent 3-finger pocket there, really high foot with the left, getting in a back step stable position to clip the first quick draw. Now then we grab this undercling edgy hold there, and as you can see, it works out pretty well from a foot sequence point of view, because we can simply make this cross step and be already able to make the next big move from this undercling to the next pinch. From there we have to switch feet, we're slipping through the rope here so that we don't have the rope behind our feet. Really big foot, stepping, with the right foot really high, and again clipping this next quick draw from a slightly, backstepped position. Flagged position, allowing us to be stable there, because this pinch is actually not so bad. It's a bit, scary to clip down there from these not so good holds if you don't have a really stable position. We grab this next shallow pocket there with the left hand, and we can just right away stay there in our 3-finger pocket with our right foot because we flagged. We didn't, switch feet, because now we would have to switch feet again. We saved a little bit of time here again. Getting the third clip in, as we can see, we're starting in this traverse now, grabbing the first hold on this blue volume, which is actually not a very good pinch, getting our feet sorted and matching there on this really, not so good edge down there. It's an undercling. And then we have to get our feet sorted again to grab the next undercling, and this one is actually better again. So we get our feet to the right, on the right side, where 2 pretty convenient footholds are placed, and from there we can actually get the next quick draw in. So now we grab this small little tiny edge, which is too bad to hold, for a proper move. So it's pretty much obvious that it's an intermediate. And as you can see, we're using this intermediate to grab this pinch, this next very prominent pinch with the left hand. Now we kind of cat jump our feet up to this pinch from before. Again, using the flaggy motion to get our next clip in, to get a stable position for the next clip, because right afterwards we can step with our right hand, really frontally on this blue volume again, and grab the next undercling pinch on this green volume with the right hand. And from there again, we're stepping onto the small edge from before and getting into a really cool backstep position, I think, to get this last clip in before we enter a pretty tough crux, to be honest. So now left hand, again, this edge, as we already saw from the ground, is really bad. So we take it to get our feet sorted one more time, get into a proper position, get ready for the mind for a really hard crux move, and this is this bump up to this kind of slopey, pinch up there with the left hand. And from this move, I actually fell a couple of times when I checked out the route for the first time, because it's really a bouldery crux there. Right foot really high, matching. And you know, from a hold order point of view, it is actually kind of obvious that we have to get the next one with the right hand. It would be much more convenient to actually grab it with the left hand, because then we wouldn't have to do such a crazy crossover move. But now, since we need it with the right hand and we can't match this one, we have to get it with the right hand, which means, you know, turning the right knee a little bit to make this back step kind of motion, and, you know, bumping up with the right hand again. This is another pretty hard move, especially if you didn't hit the one before with the left hand perfectly. Now, really high left foot and kind of pushing ourselves around this roof, around the corner, to this next little, you know, pinchy slope there with the left hand, and then getting the right foot high on this hold before. And then we have to really pull hard, you know, on this right foothold, because as you can see, we've got an axis here going with the left hand really above the left foot. And as we know, this is really prone to cause barn door problems, this kind of situation, which you know because you watched my barn door episode, right? So we have to pull really hard with the right foot there to prevent the door from opening, so to say. And during this time, we can grab the next slopey hold there and clip the next quick draw. So now we are in this more vertical terrain, getting this undercling with the left hand sorted. And because it's vertical, if we lock it off, we can actually get a little bit of a shakeout for the right hand in. Now this is something interesting again that I want to point out technically. I talked about this in my, you know, endurance routes techniques video from Siurana quite some time ago, where I illustrated how, you know, undercling holds actually sometimes have to be locked off to get into a more efficient resting position, because underclings really get bad if you know, shake from a straight arm and lean yourself outwards, because it prevents your center of gravity, you know, to come close to the wall and actually make the hold a lot better, and the force that you have to put on the hold with your fingers a lot less. So if you want to shake on high underclings, so to say, it's much more efficient if you actually lock them off a little bit, and that's what I'm doing here. As you can see, I don't shake for very long because it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because this hold is actually pretty bad, but yeah, it's enough for a short shakeout with the right hand. Getting this next undercling on this green volume with the right hand, which is good enough in combination with this left foothold to get the next clip in, which is what I'm doing. And here I'm getting the shakeout in for my left hand, as you can see. We just shaked out the right hand a little bit. Now it's time to, you know, synchronize both hands a little bit more in terms of restedness. So I just shook out my left hand there. So this is how you can actually, you know, rest while you climb without actually disrupting the flow of your climbing. And I've talked about this one in this resting episode as well. Make a move, shake out the other hand. Make the next move with the other hand, shake out the previous hand. Make the move with the previous hand, shake out the other hand. And you know, this is how you kind of can shake yourself through a route if it allows it, you know. I mean, of course, sometimes you just have no time to shake out because every move is dynamic, you know, then it just can't lock off every single hold for a short shakeout. But here this is actually possible and very necessary, because we are entering a part of the route which is going to be the crux actually. So we take the next side pull on this green volume with the left hand in combination with the thumb around the corner as we anticipated from the ground. This is a really good pinch, or a kind of okay pinch, we shouldn't say really good. Another tiny shake out there with the right hand, and then getting our right hand onto this really, sorry the word, but this is a really shitty right crimp there, which is obviously just an intermediate. So now we get our feet up and prepare for a really long move. This is a move that I struggled with a lot of, you know, most of the time actually. As you can see, I'm really stretched out there. I'm just barely getting it with my 3 fingers open. This is also something that you have to keep in mind. Your 3 fingers open grip actually has a little bit more reach than your crimp, obviously, you know, because your fingers are a little bit longer. So this alone is a good reason to train at least sometimes the 3 fingers open grip as well, okay, because it simply is going to give you more reach. And I've noticed this very often, you know, as a shorter climber. that really the 3 fingers open can help me to hit holes that I just couldn't reach otherwise, you know. So for me it makes a lot of sense to actually also train my, especially the contact strength of my 3 fingers open when I slap, you know, these really high holes. And after that you can crimp them anyways, you know, which is what I'm doing here. And then I'm kind of cat jumping myself up to this green volume, pinching it in between my 2 feet, and getting this kind of intermediate for my left hand, and then getting my left foot really high onto this hold from before to grab the next undercling hold with my left hand. And this one is actually quite okay. So I'm getting the next clip in here from there, and I think we also skipped a quick draw there, right? Yeah, I think we skipped a quick draw. Again, wouldn't be possible in a competition setting. Now we're getting our hands onto this next sloper, and this is a very cool move, I think. You know, if you would leave your left foot on this left foothold, you wouldn't be able to slap your left hand onto the next sloper because you would lose this foot in the process, and the resulting bar and door would kick you out of the wall instantly. So what I'm doing here is on purpose, I'm losing this foothold with my left foot before I actually make the move, getting it kind of below my center of gravity already, and then pull myself up, you know, to not have this swing afterwards, which would pull me off the wall. Switching my feet, getting my right foot on this little foothold there, left foot really high. As you can see, this hold is again good enough to get one little shakeout in per hand, and then we're reaching up onto the next sloper, and here we have this really beautiful flag again, which allows us actually to get the next quick draw in. And even shake out a little bit here, as you can see, before the last crux. And this is only possible because of this nice flag there and this really high foothold, of course, which allows us to step with the left foot. So after a couple of shakeouts, we're getting ready to perform the next section, and here we have a really crazy lock off, you know, right from this resting hold here, matching it with the right hand and then locking it off as hard as possible with the left hand, with the right hand, locking it off, pardon, to get the next hold with the left hand. And this is again one of these very far moves. As you can see, I almost fell here already because I was pretty destroyed already. Getting my right foot up, clipping the next quick draw, which is probably, if you want to be super efficient, kind of unnecessary, but yeah, I figured I'd get it in, why not? This next hold is again not so bad. You can shake out a little bit here, gear yourself up for the last big move basically. And as you can see, we've got here something, you know, that is just the other way around that we would like to have it. We've got a high left foot and a low right foot, and we have to jump with our right hand. So this is really crazy because we kind of have to push with our left foot to jump with the right hand. We would like to push with our right foot actually, but that's not possible because this foothold is just too freaking low for me. And as you can see, we're losing both feet in the process, and I didn't really hit this target sloper perfectly and fell there. Let's take a look at this move again when I pull myself up. Left foot high, right foot low, pulling myself there and jumping. And this time, because I hit the sloper perfectly, I only lose my right foot and my left foot actually stays on the foothold. And from there we have to lock off this bad sloper one more time to get the left foot really, really high. And yeah, lock off this sloper to get the undercling, you know, kind of badly. Then we have to step really high with the right foot to be able to get our center of gravity up so that the undercling top hold gets good enough to match it and be able to clip the anchor. So this is basically the route, and I've just wanted to show you this shot here where I actually fell on the last move, because that's what happened kind of, you know, like 2 times or something. It is definitely the crux of the route if you're coming from the bottom, and yeah, so that you have an impression where the hardest part actually is. So let's take a look at this, at the ascent of the actual route, which is a different shot, and where you can see how fast everything actually goes. Alright, we're back down at the start again. Let's see if I can keep up commenting. So we've got both hands on these 2 pinches, right high foot and big move, right pinch, left edge here, big move, 3 finger pocket. Clipping the next quick draw, undercling, cross step, next pinch, foot switch, high right foot, clipping the next quick draw. Nice move into this shallow pocket and right away clipping the next quick draw, starting the traverse. First hold on the blue volume, undercling, getting the feet sorted, next undercling, feet sorted again, and nice clip from there. Small little mini edge, bumping further to the next pinch, and then getting the left foot up, flaggy position for the stable position for clipping again. Intermediate hold, big move to the undercling pinch of the green volume, getting the clip in again, getting into position, bam, big bump onto this next sloper there, kind of a hard move, matching, bam, next bump onto the right sloper, and big left foot to pull myself over this corner, around the corner, around this roof. From there, getting the next clip in, and then getting a little bit of a chalk up in finally, because the hands were already moist there. Getting this undercling, locking it off, because then it's getting more good for shaking out. As you can see, I'm shaking my right hand here quite solidly, getting a little bit of a chalk up in there as well. And then reaching further to the next undercling already, combined with the thumb around the corner of the volume. From there, getting the next clip on and using the opportunity to shake out the left hand a bit. Getting the feet high, right hand shake out again, really bad intermediate, getting the feet high. Big move with the right hand onto the next crimp there, catching it with my 3 fingers open, you know, pinching this little volume with my feet, left hand into the undercling to get a nice stable position again for clipping, and shaking the right hand out again. Now, next sloper with the right hand, high foot, right foot, matching it, and this beautiful letting go of the left foot, and then, you know, jumping up to the next sloper so that I don't get a barn door. Left foot high again, next big move onto the next sloper, switching feet, really high left foot, and then this beautiful flag here, which allows us to get another stable position for clipping and shaking out our hands one last time before the final sequence on this vertical finishing section there. As you can see, I'm staying in the flag here quite solidly, not a lot of feet moving there, just using this position to shake out my hands here. This hold is by far not good, I mean it's actually pretty bad, but if you have enough chalk in your hand and you know, you brushed it from before, which I did, of course, it's not that bad. So matching it, pulling myself up, locking it off really badly with my left hand, this time a little bit more solid than last time. This move, which is always really close, getting the next clip in, which is kind of inefficient, but yeah, I just hate to make a dyno like this and not have the last clip quick draw in. Using this position to shake out one last time, matching the last hold in before the dyno, right hand shake out again because I want to be able to stick it. And then finally I hit it perfectly, just losing my right foot there, left foot really high, and right foot really high to be able to match the undercling and get the anchor in. And that was it for this route. Yeah, pretty tough 8B, or just simply 8B plus in my opinion, could be true as well. The whole ascent lasted for about 3 minutes 30, so this is just an example of how quickly you can actually climb 16 meters of route, and this is also quite overhanging, so we've got actually more real meters in there. Yeah, got this one pretty wired already, pretty well checked out, as you could see, hopefully. And I hope I could demonstrate some of the technical details that, you know, and the strategy details that evolved around this route. If you got something from the video, as always, smash like, it's always appreciated, and leave a comment. I'd like to hear your opinions and, you know, give me some suggestions of videos that you want to see in the future. It always is helpful. And until then, I hope you are making progress as well and you're having a great time as well. Have a good training. See you soon. Bye.